Hi, I'm Sinta Danu, and I'm a professional astrologer and psychic. So today we're going to be going over the Capricorn Full Moon. So this full moon happens on the 21st, so that's going to be on Sunday. And so what we're going to do is first I'm going to do like a general reading where I just go over the astrology chart for the full moon and what it means kind of for everyone, just in general. And of course, make sure to have your birth chart. I do have the link for a free birth chart in the comments, which will be put in the description for YouTube. And I also have the link for scheduling a one-on-one with me if you would like a personal reading that's more, based on your own astrology or a personalized tarot reading. So I have the link for both of those in the comments and in the description. All right, so I'm pulling up the full moon chart. So first of all, we have this full moon here with the moon in Capricorn and the sun in Cancer. So full moons are when things come to a peak, they come to a climax, when things are kind of at the height of tension, where things kind of tend to kind of be unleashed, is around full moons. This is when the energy is really high. It tends to be at its highest during a full moon, especially if it's like a full moon eclipse or super moon. This is just a regular full moon. However, it is at this 29th degree of Capricorn, so it's a very unstable moon, and it's also conjunct Pluto. So there's a lot of intensity with this full moon, for one. So this is also really good for like manifesting like the peak of something that you really want to manifest fast and have at its full potential, especially like finishing projects, things like that. This is a really good time for manifesting that, especially because this full moon is in Capricorn. So Capricorn is all about reality, structure, making things practical, real, solid, efficient. So this goes back about 6 months probably to the new moon in Capricorn, which was probably in January. So this is all about like focusing on the full manifestation of that new moon is coming into effect now, as well as just the manifestation from the new moon in Cancer that we had on the 5th. So all of that is coming to a height, coming to a peak on this full moon. And so this is really great for having those last finishing touches to anything that's really solid, structured, physical, has to do with career, ambition. This can also have to do with people who are in positions of authority or elders. This can also be a father figure. So there's definitely some tension there, right? And this tends to be something that affects families specifically with these full moons, because we have the moon in Capricorn, which is all about structure, authority figures, father figures, etc., right? And the sun's in Cancer, which is our family, our mother, women, relationships with women, and our family and our ancestry. So this is kind of the axis of that tension between our home life and our career, our father and our mother, the government and our family. Those kinds of bigger picture themes are really important to the Capricorn full moon. And we'll have 1 to 2 of these every year. This one, however, is at that very last degree, so it's very unstable, because 29 degrees and 0 degrees of any sign are very critical degrees. They're unstable, they're a little bit more unpredictable, so they can kind of get out of hand a little more easily than other placements. Plus, this full moon is conjunct Pluto. Pluto is the planet of power. It's the planet of trauma, of the underworld, sex, all these Scorpio, taboo, underbelly, psychological stuff, right, with Pluto. And so when we're looking at the moon being conjunct Pluto, this is a time that we're likely to be very triggered, just everyone is extremely likely to be very triggered, in a very heightened state of anxiety, fight or flight instincts. All of that is really likely during this full moon. I have an inkling that some more intense stuff's gonna happen. I mean, if you saw the last video, we talked about the quarter moon, that there was this really tense T-square that was causing a lot of tension, and there was likely to be unexpected episodes of violence. And as we've seen on the news, that was definitely the case. The quarter moon, I believe, was on the exact day that there was the whole Trump attempted assassination thing. And I would not be surprised if stuff related to that or more things like that come up on this full moon because of this conjunction to Pluto, as well as we're looking at Pluto is trining Mars and Uranus. Like, Mars is moving off of Uranus at 6 degrees out, but now it is in an exact trine to Pluto on this full moon. So we're likely to see more stuff that's associated with that incident or other unexpected episodes of violence, especially because this is a full moon. This is the peak of something. This is very heightened, intense energy. Everyone's going to be really kind of in their instincts, very likely to be triggered with this full moon. This might be a full moon you might want to stay inside, honestly, because this is some intense energy. Like, for the most part, I would not want to be anywhere where like a significant event could happen during this time, because this is very kind of a dangerous setup. As we saw with the quarter moon, it had a very similar setup, and we saw some of the things that happened on that day, and this is reactivating that. So things that have to do with that are going to come up, as well as other similar incidents may occur at this time. So I would be careful on this full moon. It's a little bit more trigger happy than your usual full moon. Full moons in general are a little bit intense and tend to have, people tend to end relationships, get into arguments, things that have been building for a while tend to kind of explode during full moons in general. And with this setup with the conjunction to Pluto, I'm really concerned about what that's going to look like, especially because Pluto is in Aquarius, which is kind of, the collective groups, associations, right? So this is kind of really big revolutionary energy with Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius, which is another critical degree, being hit by this full moon trining Mars. I would be very careful with this. Not super great for Colorado either, because we've got this full moon and Pluto are like conjunct the 8th house for Colorado, which is kind of scary. I mean, that's the house of death, taxes, sex, intimacy. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it is a good time to kind of maybe focus on building things that have to do with business and corporations and things of that nature, because I mean, Capricorn is all about ambition and growth and career. Pluto has an association with large corporations, and being in Aquarius, that's groups, association, networking, things of that nature. So this is a really good time to kind of work on finishing things in business and your career. Especially, I mean, this trine to Uranus also means that you could come in contact with unexpected people that could become part of your network, or maybe that you knew in the past and begin networking with in the current. This is also a really great time for learning with Mars in Gemini trining this. So this is a really good time to like learn about business, communicate in regards to money, business, and things of that nature, and for manifesting things in your business, completing projects, things of that nature. So that's something to look into. I mean, we still got Venus in Leo. Thankfully, it's come off of Pluto, so there's not that opposition causing as much tension. So Venus is in a place of love, play, fun. We're thinking about money in regards to children, play, fun, things of that nature. And this, thankfully, there is a little bit of outlet for some of this energy with this trine with Pluto, the moon, and Mars and Uranus. It is making a kite formation, as you can see here. All these green triangles, and they look like a kite, like a literal kite. So all of that's getting pulled to Neptune, which we've been seeing that a bunch, where like a lot of energy is being pulled to Neptune and Pisces, and it's of course at that critical degree. Saturn is still within a 10-degree conjunction. This is, our fantasies, our imagination, the universal subconscious, things of that nature. So there's a lot being pulled in that direction. So it can be a really creative time, and it's a time that really stimulates the imagination, for better or for worse. Just be careful not to get too paranoid with that, because Neptune is illusions, delusions, paranoia, things of that nature, disease. So with all the energy hitting Neptune, that can definitely, especially with all the Uranus, Aquarius things with Pluto and Mars, there's kind of a large potential for like public hysteria a little bit. Like, so don't get too frightened by the things in the stars. I mean, things happen, and there are some things that we can't avoid. There is free will, but there is also fate. There are some things that no matter what we do, they're going to happen. And some of that might come up on the full moon, but try not to give in to any kind of fear mongering at this time, because it's very likely that you will give in to fear mongering, and it could cause paranoia, delusions, and kind of, getting all in your own head with this. So really make sure to ground. I know there's not a whole lot of really grounded energy besides the moon. I mean, but it's being really destabilized considering that the moon's at the 29th degree, it's conjunct Pluto, it's trine Uranus and Mars. There's a lot of disruption in our emotional bodies. So it's very important, keep a routine, keep a structure in your life that makes you feel safe, that keeps you in contact with reality, because this is gonna be a difficult full moon. So make sure to stay grounded, stay safe. I wouldn't go do anything on this full moon personally. Well, I might be going and doing some. I don't think anything bad's gonna happen there. I don't think. Might have to change my plans. We'll see. Because this is just really intense energy, and yeah, a lot of potential for like violence, but also for just like hysteria and paranoia. So yeah, do your best to ground. I know it's going to be hard with this. I mean, most of this stuff is not really in any kind of grounded placement, unfortunately. I mean, we've got the sun at the 29th degree of Cancer, which is the emotional body, women, maternal instinct, things of that nature, which is all about our emotional foundations and how we feel safe in our bodies. So our egos are in this, like, I need to feel safe. And then the moon's like, but reality is really crazy right now, and there's lots of power struggles. And so there's a lot of fear and triggering with the moon conjunct Pluto at that 29th degree of Capricorn, being trined by Mars. Our instincts are really active and really volatile right now with that conjunction to Uranus. I mean, Uranus is in Earth, but it's not the best thing to have in Earth. It doesn't really like being in Earth as far as I can tell. So this is, this could be incidents that really disrupt your income or banking, the economy. I mean, as we've seen, the economy hasn't been super great in the first place. And so we have all of that going on. Mars has moved out of Taurus, so now it's a little bit more flighty, more fast, more intellectual. Might get a little crazier with that movement into Gemini. I mean, Jupiter's going to be going through Gemini. Neptune's in Pisces. Saturn, the planet of reality, is in Pisces, so there's a lot of potential there for delusions and paranoia. I mean, we've got Venus and Mercury in Leo, which is lovely and fun and playful, but isn't exactly grounded. It's much more romantic and playful, right? We got Black Moon in Lilith, so we're like rebelling in terms of things that aren't fair and in terms of relationships. Chiron's in Aries, so it's super fiery. So there's a lot of air, a lot of fire, some water, and just earth. It's just not a lot of things are earth, and what isn't necessarily helping. So I know it's a really hard time to be grounded, but that's why I would really take extra caution to be more grounded with this full moon, especially with the amount of power struggles and things that could occur during this time. It's not likely to be pretty, truthfully. Yeah, so for the most part, I wouldn't go out on this day. I'd kind of stay out of being in public places, especially where there's expected to be a lot of people, especially people of authority, you know, politicians, celebrities, any of those. Like, I would avoid being around them in public during this period, considering everything going on and what it looks like in the stars. This is just a very volatile time, especially with everything coming up with the election. As we could see, a lot of things kind of happened on that quarter moon, and a lot broke through, and it's likely to be some more of that energy during this full moon. So yeah, ground, stay safe. Ideally avoid places where there's going to be people with a lot of public recognition of some sort, right? That's my advice for this as a general advice is, yeah, avoid places where there's going to be people that a lot of people know about. So, especially like politicians. Anything to do with the government. Government places is also just I would avoid government facilities specifically as well during this moon phase on Sunday. If you want to compare any of this video to your birth chart, there is a link to a free birth chart in the comments, which I'll put in the links for YouTube. There's also a link to scheduling a one-on-one with me if you feel like you need more personal advice. Other than that, I am working on my workshops. I have not got them up on the website because I'm still having technical issues. I'm going to work on that more today. But I am doing the Astrology Basics course. So if you're interested in learning astrology, especially if you're new to astrology, this course will be really good for you. Even if you're not new to astrology, it's a really good way to cover all your bases to make sure that your foundations are really solid in order to move forward. I will do more courses in the future for more intermediate and advanced level astrology classes, but I should be doing the first workshop on Lionsgate August 8th. 888 because we're in an 8 year. I'm super excited for it. I already have like 6 people interested at this time, and the first five purchases of the workshop bundle is for $125. Like all the courses, if you bought them individually, is about $200. But the first 5 people to buy this course in its entirety will get it for $125, and I already have 6 people interested. So I will be messaging people and putting it up on Facebook and everywhere else once it is ready. I just need to get it up on the website. But once I do, I really do think that the courses are going to sell fast. So, you know, keep a lookout for the links for that. Other than that, yeah, super excited. Be safe. Be safe this weekend. It is really tense. The energies are kind of scary. I would not be surprised if there were more kind of outbursts of violence like we did have on the quarter moon. This yet another reason to learn astrology is so that you can prepare yourself to know if something really terrible is going to happen. Not everyone wants to know that, but I certainly would like to know ahead of time personally. So be safe this weekend and take care, and I'm gonna get out of here. Bye.